Ho ho ho! We continue Case 5 in the first game. I remember we didn't get to one of those to be continued points, but I think I needed some time, and I forget if we're gonna cross-examine him, or if we're cross-examining, or if we're, like, debating one of the other guys. Because an innocent person to be judged unfairly because of some insipid lie, I will never forgive you. Edgy. Although, allow me to say that I consider you to be among the innocent in this case, and that I will draw the real killer out. You can trust me on this. Alright, this time I'll tell you the whole truth, okay? What happened, what didn't happen, the works. Just what happened will do. Now then, if you would please testify as to what you did up on the roof tonight. His face. After the show, I left the pushcart in the rose garden and came into the embassy. Then they took a picture of me shaking hands with the ambassador. After that, and until my next appearance, I had some free time, so I wandered around. That's when I spotted the chimney. A chimney like that is a rare thing, you know. So then I wanted to play Santa and decided to give it a try. Yeah, I'm gonna go straight to pressing that. Larry, I thought I just finished telling you to not lie anymore. But it's kinda ultra embarrassing. And what exactly is so ultra embarrassing that you can't tell me? Edgy, man. I just said it was embarrassing, so of course I can't just blurt it out. So you're just gonna have to reason it out of me. As your superior, I command you to hurry up and expose this man's lie. I have every intention to, for I'm not about to let us waste time on such a trifling matter.
Hold it!
You suddenly wanted to play Santa. Oh, well actually I dressed up as Santa once before already. That was down at Gourd Lake. I do too. I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't dress up such unnecessary memories for me. Yeah, it sounds like you guys share a lot of history. A perk to being childhood friends, huh? Besides, it's not a felony to dress up and play Santa, you know. Santa doesn't go around killing people after he comes down a family's chimney, after all. Actually, is it worth delving into whether or not playing Santa is a big deal? Yes. Actually, I believe in the case of this man, playing Santa is actually quite a big deal. Are you saying that your buddy isn't exactly made of Santa-quality stuff? Precisely, you hit the nail on the head, Agent Lang. Hey, Edgy, that's so incredibly mean. Tell me something, Larry. Did you know that Santa's job was to deliver presents to people all over the world? Of course I know that. I did graduate from junior high, you know. In that case, it's your turn to tell me something. I want you to tell me to whom you were delivering a present to. I was, delivering a present to a child not basking in the warm glow of love. That must be the most elegant description of you I've ever heard, but a lie is still a lie. You sure know how to kick a guy when he's down, you know that? In any case, the person you wish to deliver a present unto was most certainly this.
Here's a Wendy, Mindy really. I didn't say opportunist.
Yeah, the person who dressed up as the second masked mask.
Oh, I thought that was a lady.
I guess Wendy? Because she ended up being the princess?
Yeah, because you don't know what Wendy looks like.
Take that!
Hey, interesting taste you have there, Mr. Suspect. Don't spread lies about me. I totally didn't want to see Miss Oldbag so much that I tried to go down a chimney. Ow! I advise you to stop right there in your bashing of a lady. Well, I must admit that I myself hardly ever have the want to run into that lady. However, what if you were misinformed and under the wrong impression? Then what? Define wrong impression. I simply mean that the man before you thought to enter the old lady's room without knowing one very important fact. And that fact is best summed up with this. Yes.
But now says.
Take that!
I don't think she changed anything. I think the M just looks like a W, and The E with the accent is just the I with a regular dot on top. Larry, I'd like for you to take a look at this piece of evidence. No way, but it's not really all that important, is it? It's always like this, you acting so high and mighty, then you bully me. That's why I refuse to look at it. Be quiet and just take a look. Well, if you say so, Francie, but only because you say so. Some people never change, even if their attitudes do change at the whim of women. So what's up with that anyway? Why, it's proof that you never even knew existed, of course. Oh, is that all? Well, I don't need it right now, so I'll just give it back to you. What? Huh. I think we just got ahead of ourselves.
Is it the split? In fact, this says is it the split chimney?
Well, let's take a look at the evidence. There we go. Request for Miss Oldbag to stand in for Manny. This is something the old lady received from her employer for the night. The girl who normally plays the Pink Princess, Mindy was it again? It seems that this man is quite taken with that actress. But that's not true, Edgy. She's the one with the hots for me. I just know it. I can feel her sexy beam piercing my heart when she's watching me. Sexy beam, I tell you. You filthy, despicable, inconsiderate, fickle, idiotic, cowardly apparition of a man. You haven't matured at all since we last met. Hey, Mr. Prosecutor. Yes? This guy, he's got bigger problems than just getting involved in murders, I take it? I suppose you could put it that way. Hey, what the heck, man? I don't get you guys at all. Why do you all have to make me out to be some sort of bad guy? To return to the original topic, I propose that at least this much has been made clear. Without any knowledge that Miss Mindy had fallen ill, Larry tried to make his way into the Pink Princess's room. That much we know for sure. Hey, Edgy, looks like I've got the hang of this court thing now. But we're not in court at the moment. Shut up. I see what's going on here, and it looks like just like what you do in court. I guess old boy here still has something he'd like to say. Lang's eye says, until the root of the tongue dries, one never knows the whole truth. You shouldn't form conclusions until everything is out in the open, which is why I'll listen. Alright, then get ready to listen to me defeat Edgy in a battle of wits. Larry, have you forgotten that should I lose, your victory prize will be your arrest? So you think that all I wanted to do was to go visit Mindy? Well, I dressed up as Santa and climbed up to the chimney, but the smoke was really thick. It was a case of mistaken identity, and that mistake made me late for the speech. Then to top it all off, I became a suspect in a murder. That's what you really meant. But why would I ever put myself through so much humiliation on purpose? Hey, someone say something. Larry, are you seriously trying to submit this not as a confession but as testimony? So what if I am? Is there something wrong with that? My claim is a claim claiming my claim. Do you have a problem with that? So it was you. You're my stalker. But I should warn you, it doesn't matter what kind of flattery you throw at me. I'm the devoted type of woman long as Edgy-Poo is alive, although earlier I was tempted just a teeny-weeny love for my dear Edgy-Poo. Stay completely chew my beloved Edgy-Poo. Ah, I'm so inspired. You're such an inconsiderate, cowardly, idiotic, and all-around completely worthless man. I thought I heard something ominous just now, but perhaps it was just my imagination. I believe there is nothing further for me to prove at this point. What do you mean? Of course you still got something to prove. You still have to show some proof that I was trying to meet up with Mindy. Proof, you say? Remember, Edgy, everything is evidence in court, right? You mean evidence is everything in court, Larry, but I understand your point. Yes, see, I'm totally a pro at this now. Very well, if you wish to see the evidence, then let me show you the last piece of evidence you'll ever wish to see. Well, I have been saying that for a while now. After all, if not for that, then for what other reason did you wish to go down that chimney? You can't say that without any evidence. That's against the rules, Edgy. And thanks for keeping the prosecutor in line for me, Mr. Suspect. I have the evidence, and if you wish to see it that badly, I can introduce you to. But it's not good to keep them waiting, my subordinate. Hurry and show them already. Lies, all lies, Edgy. Well, if you wish to lie, then by all means continue, because I'm ready to expose your lie at a moment's notice. You won't get the better of me, now let's see. I think it's the first statement. Yeah.
Objection!
Larry, don't even think about denying that you have knowledge of this letter. Hey, whoa, why are you showing that thing to me? Wendy, I'll be descending on you from above tonight, your loving knight. Well, isn't that just romantic? But you weren't able to descend on her from above, were you, Mr. Loving Knight? Arg. I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't remember a thing. You could pretend to be ignorant all you'd like, but it's written right here. This letter proves that you were not out to meet the old lady, but rather that you were attempting to pay Miss Mindy a visit. Part of this letter shows the person Larry had attempted to meet was Mindy. Well, notice how he does loving knight. See how he does the eye? I don't know if that's...
Take that!
Larry, I suggest you take up penmanship lessons. That is, if you never wish to experience this level of embarrassment ever again. What the heck? What are you talking about? Speak English! You wrote Mindy so sloppily that it became Wendy to the average eye. Hey, stop picking on me. It's so embarrassing! There. Isn't that what childhood friends are for? They're the best, aren't they? For punching. But that will have to wait until we're off of this crime scene. Eek, Edgy, save me from the scary man. Sure, but if you're willing to make amends, starting with your incredibly embarrassing mistake. That wasn't me. Come again? It's a fake. Someone's out to get me, so they made that fake letter. They set me up!
Compared to his autograph.
That's right. Accept your defeat graciously. But you guys are being so mean. Penmanship analysis. What's that? No matter who, all people have certain unique features to their handwriting. Ergo, all we have to do is compare the handwriting in this letter to a sample of yours, and we'll know soon enough who it was that sent this letter. I'll never write another thing in my life. Tis, it's no use, Mr. Loving Knight, for you've already graciously provided me with a sample. Indeed. And even that, samurai, with the, eye that looks like an E.
Take that!
This autograph and our mysterious letter. If we compare the handwriting, we'll know the answer to our questions soon enough. Confess now, Larry, to your miserable failure. I'm sorry. I did it. It was me causing trouble again. I admit it. You hit the nail right on the head, Edgy. So he finally confesses. I saw the pink princess being carried around in a stretcher and got worried, alright? I wanted to go into Mindy's room, but the doctors wouldn't let me in. So what choice did I have? It was the chimney or bust, Edgy. Your mind jumped from the door to the chimney. What a criminally overactive imagination. Well, at least I was honest and wrote Mindy a letter and stuck it under the door. That way she wouldn't be so shocked when I came down through the chimney. Except for the fact that the letter was an utter failure at conveying said sentiment. I'm really sorry. Larry, you may be a shameful, good-for-nothing blight on the face of humanity. However, I always knew you weren't the killer. I told you to trust me. Because at the very least, I can attest to that about you. Edgy, you're... Ack! We've lost a lot of valuable time because of you. Ow! In any case, I believe we can say that we now know exactly what happened. Mr. Larry Butz sought to climb down the chimney, not for access to the crime scene, but to enter the room of the elderly lady next door. Great job, Mr. Prosecutor, although I still find it a bit unbelievable that the two of you are friends. But the suspicion on that guy over there, he hasn't completely resolved yet, so don't get any funny ideas about running off, okay? Ow! Hey, what? Edgy, what does the Wolfman mean when he says, "I'm not off the hook yet"? He means the murder weapon. Larry, did you forget? There are 2 layers of suspicion hanging over your head. That's exactly what I mean. We can't only rely on the words of the suspect after all. We may have figured out where he was and what he was doing all night. Bloodstained samurai sword that was left at the crime scene. As long as there is no satisfactory explanation for that, this wolf will refuse to ease up on his bite. Eek! Edgy, that guy, he looks like he's seriously about to take a bite out of me. I'm well aware, and you should be as well, that this upcoming battle will be crucial. Thanks to the cooperation of our lovely bumbler, I've been dealt a very nice hand and a sweet trump card. Looks like we're about to enter the final bout. Now, Mr. Prosecutor, let's see what you've got. I can easily point out the contradiction in the supposed murder weapon. The real problem for me is figuring out what the real murder weapon is. This will be a high-stakes gamble, but this is one game I can't afford to lose. I was the one who found the body of the victim Damas II. Beside him was the samurai sword, glittering red and offering up the scent of blood. It was supposed to be in the Steel Samurai's dressing room, but I found it here instead. Plus, I found the murder weapon similar to the suspect Larry Butz in here, too. Isn't it a bit far-fetched to accuse someone simply on the basis of ownership? But this owner wanted to sneak onto the crime scene. I think that's plenty to go on, don't you? If you're alluding to his reason for being by the chimney, we've already established that. Hold on there, Mr. Prosecutor. You two are longtime friends, right? Who's to say you didn't fabricate the evidence to give him an alibi? You're accusing me of fabricating evidence? You think I can believe anything you produce? Forging evidence is all you prosecutors do. This man has some serious issues with prosecutors. But come on, I can't think up something as complicated as that, right, Edgy? Larry, I can agree because I know you and your personality well. However, Agent Lang knows nothing about you, or me for that matter. I sense his hatred for my entire profession emanating from his entire being, meaning that the only way I can prove Larry's innocence is to present irrefutable evidence.
Hold it!
Excuse me, but glittering red and offering up the scent of blood? Do I have to spell it out for you? I mean, the sight and smell of blood, of course. And according to the test, the blood on the sword belongs to the victim. The sword was made to only be used on stage, so it's not sharp. But it is pretty weighty. It's certainly heavy enough to beat someone to death with. Which leads me to suspect that the victim was beaten to death with the sword. Beaten to death, huh? This last statement is too important to just let it slip by.
Hold it!
So the sword is covered in the victim's blood. Yeah, the lab results confirm that the blood on the sword matches the victim's. But the sword is as dull as a vanilla envelope. It's just a stage prop after all. The Steel Samurai is all about safety first, so you can't use it like a real sword. The Steel Samurai has spoken. What? The Pink Princess also appears to have something she'd like to petition to you personally. What the Pink Princess would like to say can wait for the day after eternity. Anyway, my point is that even though the sword is too dull to slice with, it's certainly heavy enough to bludgeon someone to death with. Therefore...
Hold it!
About this samurai sword, have you received a report from forensics yet? They confirmed the blood on the sword belongs to the victim. Alright, but have they confirmed that the outline of his wound is consistent with the weapon? Tell me something, do you see the dead body right there in front of you? So, if they were conducting the autopsy right now, shouldn't that body not be here? Well... I suppose so. I guess they must still be investigating this room. Meaning that it's possible he doesn't know about that piece of evidence's true nature. Anything else you'd like to chit-chat about? No? Good, let's continue. Whoops.
Hold it!
Larry has already testified that he forgot the samurai sword here. Yeah, I was shaking hands with the ambassador in here, and I left it behind by accident. So what, you lied earlier, so who's to say that this excuse isn't just another lie? But I forget stuff all the time, right, Edgy? Tell him. Why don't you tell him yourself? You see? What did I tell you earlier? No one will buy such a pathetically weak excuse. Yes, well, I know that it's not possible to prove such an excuse as truth. And yet you offer it up as fact. You're a worse person than I originally thought. You're free to think what you'd like, however, I know that Larry is not the killer. Agent Lang, please continue with your argument. I'll expose the flaw in it soon enough.
Hold it!
Just because he is the owner of the weapon, therefore he must be the killer, is it? No, climbing all the way up to the chimney is plenty suspicious in my book as well. Regarding that, I have already drawn the truth out, and the truth is one thing I don't bend. It doesn't matter if it's you or whoever, you prosecutors are all the same. And as for me, prosecutors are the one thing I don't trust in. An agent who doesn't trust prosecutors, what are you playing at? Sorry, sis. But there are only two things I trust, my subordinates and evidence at the crime scene. Agent Lang hates prosecutors, but as long as he trusts evidence that has been left at the crime scene, then there is something I can show him that he can believe in. It's simply not possible that the samurai sword is the real murder weapon. So I should focus on proving that point to Agent Lang first. Okay. So he modified this to say it was covered in the victim's blood. He says he suspects he beat the victim to death with that thing.
What are you looking for?
I don't know. I'm just looking at the evidence. Because I don't know where to contradict.
Well, I suspect you beat the victim to death with that thing. You talking about the samurai sword?
Yeah, so I can see it being that. But we also had him add to this as well.
The great spear.
Yeah, but what do I use? What statement do I contradict with the spear?
Oh, he said that his. I suspect he beat the victim to death with that thing, but he's talking about the samurai sword.
Right. And he's saying it's hollow enough, or not hollow enough, but it's not really sharp, but it's weighty enough that you could beat someone with it.
What'd you present?
The sword.
Objection!
Nope.
Hold it!
Read what he says again. So maybe the spear is what we do there.
Objection!
I was right.
Yep. I just didn't know which statement. Do you know what this is, Agent Lang? Hey, it's a long spear, right? We used to use those a lot in my country a long time ago. Piercing, mowing people down, spears are the weapon of heroes throughout history. It's the next most effective weapon after the whip. I think the whip is in a slightly different category. So what's your point? Are you going to tell me that the spear is the real weapon? No, I simply want you to take a look at this section here. The way it's bent? Precisely. Apparently a certain troublemaker hit it against a wall in this embassy earlier. And as you can clearly see, the insides of the steel samurai's weapon are hollow. In other words, they're replicas that aren't strong enough to deliver a damaging blow. Let alone the multiple strikes necessary to bludgeon someone to death. And yet there is not even a dent in the samurai sword. How do you explain that? Okay, I see how that works now. Ayya! Oh yeah, the sword and the spear are made of the same stuff, so they bend easily. But I wish they'd make them out of better stuff, because the spear got bent. I wasn't able to do my special early summer rain jab move. Man, I got such an earful from the director of the play for not doing it in the show. The Steel Samurai special move was changed tonight because of him? I wasn't expecting that to be relevant to a piece of evidence, but I guess that'll come later. Youch! That's more than enough of your whiny whimpering. Now, back on the topic of the spear. Yes, let's return to the real topic of discussion. This is where the real gamble begins. I don't have a real strategy per se, so all I can do for now is let the chips fall where they may. Using guesswork and taking risks in place of real logic is hardly the Von Karma way. It's neither smart nor very clever. Miss Von Karma, as you know, unlike your father, I am not a genius prosecutor. Plus, I doubt his record of a 40-year win streak will ever be broken. But perhaps it is for the best if it remains unbroken, for no one should have conceived the notion to convict all defendants in the first place. What a foolishly foolish statement from a foolish fool who hates to lose. It's the job of a prosecutor to make sure that all defendants are found guilty in court. There is nothing more important in this world than a perfect victory. That may be your opinion, however, I don't believe that's all we are. As a prosecutor, what I pursue is not the perfect victory, but the perfect truth. And if that means that the bridge I must cross will crumble beneath my feet, then let it crumble as I walk on towards the truth. You're good at keeping me entertained, Mr. Prosecutor. But you know, humans are delicate creatures. The slightest bump and we expire. I'd like you to consider, if you will, the possibility that the sword was used in such a way that the attack killed Damas II without bending it. So what do you think of my hypothetical scenario? I think you know what to do here, right? And what you need. Of course, what I need is evidence that he can't refute. This is it. Time to bring this to a close. It's possible to use the samurai sword to kill someone. And under these circumstances, it's the only logical conclusion. We searched the embassy top to bottom, but the victim's blood is only on that weapon. So isn't it only natural that suspicion would fall onto the owner of said weapon?
I know what the weapon is.
What?
The statue. It's been moved.
Oh. And like they wiped the blood off?
Maybe it's under the bottom. Like it's on the base.
As long as I want, because we examined every corner within the walls of this embassy.
Because no one's allowed to touch that, remember?
That's right, so somebody did. Whether they were allowed, whether they were somebody who was allowed or not, somebody touched it.
Hold it!
You left no stone unturned. Is that a fact? You see, they're even saying it. No stone unturned, and that thing was turned. If you've got something to say, then say it the only way I can respect, Mr. Prosecutor. Yes, of course. In that case, allow me to make it all crystal clear for you.
Hold it!
But you must know that your conclusion is wrong. Given the circumstance I'm in, the only people I can trust are my subordinates, because there are much more trustworthy buds than you prosecutors will ever be. And you call yourself a professional. You still don't see, do you, Mr. Prosecutor? You have to earn my trust. And the only way to do that is to show me proof of another possible murder weapon. Another possible weapon. In this room, there's only one other thing left. And it's right there! This is going to be a gamble, but I can't withdraw from the game now. You're not going to get me to trust you by the power of your glare alone, you know. Plus, I have other reasons as to why I think the samurai sword is the murder weapon. Let me try that picture. And again, I could be jumping the gun.
Objection!
And I am. Things I says, confidence is like a soul, but words without confidence are but empty shells. You shouldn't waste your breath on words you have no confidence in, Mr. Prosecutor. Although it's just as bad to say something in full confidence and be wrong.
Hold it!
The only place where you could find blood was on the samurai sword. That's right, even with luminol. Which means that there are no other possibilities outside of what I'd already outlined. Do I have a problem with Agent Lang's assertion? Yeah. If you believe that there is no other door or possibility left to open, then allow me to force one open for you. Huh, and how do you plan to do that? By showing you what may possibly be the real murder weapon. Ha! The real murder weapon. I hate to repeat myself, but my men have already searched every last inch of this embassy, and they've concluded that nothing else could have been used as the weapon. Knowing these facts, do you still want to press forward with your little hypothesis? Of course, because it's not possible that your men inspected everything in their investigation. What are you talking about? I don't appreciate mind games, and I don't appreciate it when people like you slander my men. I'm not slandering them, I assure you. I'm merely pointing out that their investigative dragnet has a few holes in it. Namely, that there is something your men couldn't even lay a finger on, and that item is the real murder weapon. Alright then. I'll play along for now. This real weapon that killed Damas II. What exactly is it? The real murder weapon, which on a single person has yet to touch, is this.
Take that! Not so fast!
Oh wait, I think that's the other one? Yeah, because the picture... Whoops. The picture will be better because it shows that it was moved. Or not.
I'm so confused.
See what I'm missing. Oh, this one. We're in Alabast. Signs it was moved during murder. The National Treasure of Alabast. You mean the Primadux statue? Yes, and as you know, only the ambassador and a secretariat may touch it. Which I believe means that neither you nor your men were able to examine it, correct? Ha 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 ha. You know very well that if we did that, there'd be an international incident between the Kingdom of Alabast and the Republic of Babel. Two countries' precarious relationship teeters in the balance over a stupid fight related to a sovereignty statue. But I'll be damned if I let something go unexamined. Agent Lang, if you could take a look at this. The direction the statue is facing just before and after the crime are different. And there is only one conclusion I can draw from that. Go look for Ambassador Alba and get him to give us the okay to examine the statue. Shai-Fu, you can't listen to this infidel's words.
Infidelio.
He is most definitely trying to trick you. Shai-Fu, please, let's be rational about this. Lang's eye says, just go already. Yes, sir.
He's a little bit more cooperative with us right now.
Yes. Shai-Fu? Yeah? I'm really sorry, sir, but I was unable to convince the ambassador. I was unable to obtain permission for us to examine the Primadux statue. I see. Wait, but then the investigation is at a standstill. Agent Lang, I will go and speak with the ambassador personally. Save your breath. He may act all weak and frail, but that old man's one tough cookie. But I guess you've got to be tough when you're representing a whole country, you know? Agent Lang, what do you want? Let's just hurry up and examine the statue already. What? But Shai-Fu, what about causing an international incident? Quiet! I'll take the fall if I have to later. Agent Lang, the hypothesis is mine, so if someone is to take the responsibility, let it be me. Responsibility? If we're going to take in such heavy terms, maybe I should talk in such heavy terms. Maybe I should let you. It'd be a real problem for my men if something were to happen to me. Alright then, less talk and more investigating. If we want to know the truth, we can't stop here. Action must be taken. Agent Lang, I'd like to run a chemiluminescence test on the statue. A luminol test. Ah, good thinking.
So that way we don't really have to move it.
Nah. If the statue is the murder weapon, then some of the victim's blood should be on it. Okay, let's get the forensics team in here. Oh.
It's not the area that I thought was going to have blood on it.
I thought it was going to be the bottom.
Me too.
Nah. Looks like you hit the jackpot, Mr. Prosecutor. I guess that means that this is the real weapon that killed Damas II. Indeed. But I wouldn't celebrate yet if I were you. This doesn't let your friend off the hook. It doesn't prove that he didn't kill Damas II, so the charge remains. We are hardly done examining the statue, Agent Lang. Knowing that it is the real weapon, I believe further examination is required. Ah, you think so? Okay, then knock yourself out.
Here we go.
And what do we have here? This dirty smudge. It looks like a handprint. Hehehehe. Ah! What is a definitive bit of evidence like you doing under here? Looks like we've got some fingerprints to analyze. Worst case scenario, these prints belong to Larry. It looks like it's too late for me to do anything about that now. Hey, forensics guy, I want results on these fingerprints ASAP, you hear me? Agent Lang, I have the analysis results, sir. Good, and? Sir, about the prints we lifted from the bottom of the statue. Well, you know the victim of the murder in the Ablaze embassy? The prints belong to him, to Mr. Manny Coachen, sir.
This is like I Love Lucy, but murder.
Yeah.
This is so, like, crazy.
Yeah. Something is... But that's... preposterous? What's going on around here? No, that's impossible. Each primitive statue can only be handled by someone of that country. But by the very fact that Mr. Coachen's fingerprints are on this one, it leads me to only one conclusion. This statue is actually Babel's primitive statue. Impossible, it can't be. Yeah.
These kung fu moves are kind of weird.
Yeah. Larry never once set foot in Babelese soil, so he was free to go. However, this new piece of information only served to confuse us even further. The ringleader of a smuggling operation was killed with an Albastian knife in Babel, and Damas II was killed on Alabastian soil with Babel's national treasure. And the mystery of the great thief Yatagarasu, who visited both countries. The pieces were there, but I had yet to see the big picture they were to form.
Do you need a little break, or are you going to continue?
We can continue. I've left the Damas II investigation to Franziska and returned to Babel. I suppose my first order of business should be to look into Babel's statue. Mr. Edgeworth! So, Kay, what's the situation? Oh, it's great. Investigating is so much fun. In other words, they've made absolutely no progress. We weren't goofing off, honest, sir. We've been investigating our hearts out. Very well, then. Would you care to give me an update on your investigation? Oh, we've had a really fun time, sir. I knew it. Zero progress. In any case, Detective Gumshoe. Yes, sir? You have permission to enter the Alabastian embassy, is that correct? Yep. As a local detective, I'm helping out with investigations on both sides, sir. Good. In that case, I can leave these pieces of evidence with you. They belong to the lady under the Pink Princess's mask. The Pink Princess? What kind of lady was playing her, sir? The kind that was also playing the role of the Pink Badger yesterday. Ugh! Oh, understood, sir. If I happen to run into her, I'll give them back to her. And if I don't, then I guess I'll unload them somewhere. He doesn't seem all that enthused to go find her, but I can't blame him. Now that I don't believe I'll be needing this anymore either. What? Are you really going to throw that autograph away? Yes, because that Steel Samurai was a fake. Wait, what? What do you mean by fake? Now then, I believe it's time for a little housekeeping. Mr. Edgeworth, you look like you're enjoying yourself, Detective. Well, I don't have much else that I enjoy as much as a good investigation, sir. So, what did you find out? Ah, well. Ha 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 ha. Ah ha 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 ha.
That means nothing.
I take it he has found nothing of any particular use as usual. Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, I got something really interesting from Ambassador Palaeno. Oh, and what is this something interesting? This, sir. Wow, that's so pretty. I'm so jealous. That's a real treasure there. Why does the flame burn green, Detective? So apparently, if you burn the special wick crystal oil that they only make in Babel, it burns this green color, sir. Interesting, so it's a special property of the soil. I suppose this is a ploy to force people to visit Babel should the oil run out. Hey Gummy, what about these silhouettes? They stuck some cutouts on the outside of the lantern so it would project the images. Oh, silhouettes, huh? They are rather pretty, aren't they? Wait, what am I doing? I was supposed to be asking for an update on the investigation. Hey, what's wrong, sir? There's something I want you to investigate for me. Do you think you can do that much? Uh-huh, you got it, sir. Hey, that's not fair. Why is Gummy getting to do all the fun stuff? Ah, well, that's because I'm Mr. Edgeworth's partner. I can't believe you took advantage of the confusion and stole my role as assistant. I expect the two of you to get along and work together like professionals on this. Ah, so you're back now, are you, Mr. Edgeworth? You must be tired. Here, with these, you could eat whatever you'd like. And these are? Discount tickets for our cafeteria. They open tomorrow at 10 in the morning. I appreciate the concern, however, these coupons do nothing for me right now. This open-air stage, what function does it serve exactly? Well, normally, we use it for a variety of events. It's all to distract that extra bit of attention to Babel. I heard that tonight over in the Alabastian Rose Garden, Ambassador Alba was to give a speech. And you know what? Manny told me that I really should give a speech, too. Mr. Coachen told you that? Yes, he did. Which is why I thought I should give a speech of my own. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to. Because of the fire the Yatagarasu started. Exactly. Ambassador Palaeno, there's just one thing I'd like to ask you about. Yes? Oh, don't worry, you could ask me more than just one thing. How about 2 or 3? In exchange, I expect you'll be coming to Babel, yes? Thank you, but just the one thing is all I require. Manny Coachen, I'd like to ask you about this man who was your secretary. Sure, I'll tell you what I know. Thank you for your cooperation, Ambassador. He was, well, if I had to put it in one word, he was an able man. If there was ever anything I needed as an ambassador, he was able to get it for me. The thing that a man like that had a hand in a smuggling ring right under my nose going completely unnoticed. Actually, I suppose because he was an able man, I was unable to detect his dirty feelings. And it sounds like Mr. Coachen had a very sharp mind. Recently, Manny had been really busy. Since I became the Babelese representative at the Country Unification Council, he's been working tirelessly to cover my work for me. I'm sorry, but what is this Country Unification Council? Oh, well, you see, had tonight's events proceeded without a hitch, our two countries were to reunify and become one again. But I guess with how things turned out, that dream won't be realized anytime soon. I suppose not. Ambassador Palaeno, I'd like to ask you a little more about the Primitive statues. Oh, I see. Well, let me ask you about this. Did you know that Alabas and Babel used to be one country called Cadopia? Oh, ABC. Alabas, Babel, Cadopia. Aruba, Bonaire, Curacao. Yes, I know that much about your history. Well, the Primitive statue belonged to the founders of Cadopia. At least that's how the story goes. It was bequeathed unto the king of Cadopia as a symbol of the country's wealth. So it was meant as a symbol of sovereignty and the right to rule, I take it? Yes, that's right, which is why both countries are so adamant about their claim. We hold the real statue, therefore we hold the right to rule is the reasoning. It's pretty petty when you think about it, though, I suppose. But if Alabas and Babel were to re-establish relations, shouldn't that put an end to the squabbling over the statue? I have no reason to believe so. The Primitive statue is even more important now as a key to diplomacy. I wonder if Ambassador Palaeno knows about what has happened to the very important key to diplomacy. Perhaps I should try showing him this key and see what he has to say about it. Master Palaeno, if you could please take a look at this for me. The Turnabout statue sitting in Alabas right now actually belongs to Babel. So it would appear I received a call from Miss Von Karma about this earlier. Then you will understand why I wish to inspect Babel's Primaduck statue immediately. Because the statue currently in your country's possession, yes, well, I've already inspected it myself. And it is definitely Alabas statue. I know, because it's the real statue. Then you're saying that Babel's was a replica. I'm embarrassed to say it's true, even though I knew that someday it would be exposed. I received my orders from the leaders of Babel, and I was to negotiate with Ambassador Alba at this event. I was to negotiate with him and fix the results of the evaluation tonight. To say that we could not determine which statue was the real one. Why are you telling me this? Well, because you already figured it out. Our statue is just a hollow gold shell. Even if Babel were to lose face, the reunification of the country is what's important. I'm right in thinking that, aren't I? I'm not making a mistake, right? If you don't know yourself, then I won't pretend to know either. I never thought that by being betrayed by my own secretary, the real symbol of wealth would be given to me. Isn't it simply ironic? Hey, where are you going? Are you heading back to Alabast? Yes, but before I do, I suppose I should give you a summary of what happened. Oh, I see. So there's been a murder in both countries using an object from the other country. That's the gist of it. Babel is just as strict as Alabast in their inspection of the people and things that enter their country, meaning that somehow both murder weapons were smuggled into the two countries. That's the only logical conclusion that can be drawn. Perhaps the key to the weapon smuggling is the person who traversed both countries. You mean the fake Yatagarasu? In one way or another, the Yatagarasu is connected. Of this, I am sure. Now then, where was the Yatagarasu first spotted? I believe it was the Rose Garden on the Alabastian side of the embassy. The garden is just on the other side of this boundary. It's where Ambassador Alba was to give a speech tonight. At least that's where I heard the Yatagarasu had appeared. In that case, I believe it's vital that I investigate the Rose Garden post-haste. Wait, before you go, take a look at this, Mr. Edgeworth. What is it? My guess is that it's a guitar pick. I picked it up just now over there. Do you think it'll be of any use? There was a little water on it, but how did the water get on it? Doesn't look like there's anything it could get wet from around here. I was thinking, they have concerts here at this open-air stage from time to time, right? Alright, I'll find its owner later. Oh yeah, there's one more thing. Mr. Edgeworth, would you be willing to hold on to this? What is this? It's misused perfume. It's the bottle that woman left behind and that I found 7 years ago. I thought that one day it'd be of some use in tracking her down, so I kept it safe all this time. Thank you, I'd be honored to hold on to it for you. I think I'll be returning to the investigation in Alabas now, but I know, I'll go back to Babel and do some more investigating there. I see you're back, Miles Edgeworth. How are things in Babel? Although I can't really say I expect much from Scruffy and that girl. The investigation into Manny Coachen's death hasn't really progressed any. However, the investigation into the Yatagarasu. Even now, I find it hard to believe. A person who can freely traverse between the two countries at will? Preposterous. Well, that's what I came here to investigate. I heard that this is where witnesses claim to have seen the Yatagarasu. That's correct. Ambassador Alba was to give a speech tonight here in Alabast. And that's when the Yatagarasu appeared. The shadow of the mysterious thief appeared, and just as suddenly it vanished. After that, there was the fire at the Babelese embassy that the Yatagarasu started. I vow that not a single feather from the Yatagarasu shall escape my vigilance. Or diligence. Diligence. This statue bears resemblance to the Primadux statue. The plaque says King Primadux in the battlefield. In order to save the queen, King Primadux put his life on the line and went to war. So, Primadux was actually a person of royal blood. I thought he was simply imitating a character from an ancient legend. Well, what surprises me is that a real person who looked like the Steel Samurai existed. I suppose there's that too. There are roses scattered on the surface of the water, creating a pleasant fragrance. It's not just for aesthetics, this pool's water is also used in putting out fires. I see. Oh! The pool stopped filling itself automatically. The fountain spouts are set to stay open until the pool's water reaches a certain level. If this water is used to put out fires, I suppose it must be refilled to its normal level, which suggests that this pool was recently used somehow in this embassy. I guess I'll take some notes about it just in case. Seriously? Ugh! Ugh! How dare you surprise me like that? I'm sorry. Oh, hey, Edgy. Thanks for what you did back there. Your gratitude alone is enough. More importantly, Larry, this pool is not for your personal enjoyment. I know that. Do you really think that I'm the type just to jump into a pool and swim around for fun? Alright then, did you by chance fall into the pool? Nice guess, but no dusts. So you know my son, right, Edgy? Your son? I guess I kinda lost sight of him when I shook hands with the ambassador. And I'm pretty sure he was around here when I last saw him. You imbecile, how can you be so flippant at a time like this? What are you going to do if your son fell into the pool? And how old is this child of yours, anyway? Huh? Oh, how old is he again? Larry, this is the first I've heard of a son. Who exactly is the mother? The mother? Oh, that chick. The pink princess. The pink princess. Miss Von Karma. I was a bit confused by this man's words for a bit there. However, I believe what he's looking for is the doll of the Iron Infant. Yes, because I'm the Steel Samurai through and through, heart and soul. And the Iron Infant is my cute little son. You have given a whole new meaning to the phrase astounding fool. Larry, we have not seen hide nor hair of the Iron Infant. But rest assured that if we should find him, we'll let you know. Now get out of here. Sounds good. In that case, I'll go search over there. Hey, wait. Well, it's not as if he'll get very far swimming around in that pool. And though he's unrelated to the murders, he sure knows how to cause a lot of trouble. Where are we at? It's 9. I think this is a good stopping point.
Okay.